Imagine a busy train station overflowing with crowds, announcements, and constant motion. And in the middle of this noisy stream of life, a train service dog named Ray suddenly breaks protocol and rushes toward a little boy, as if he sensed not just fear, but something far darker. Why would a perfectly disciplined dog act on his own? Why would he start licking the tears of a 7-year-old child no one else even noticed? The boy is standing by the wall, gripping his backpack like a life preserver. His tears fall silently, but the moment Ray touches him with his nose, a spark of hope flickers in his eyes, as if the dog is the only one who sees his pain. I'm watching all of this unfold in real time, and it feels as though time itself stretches. Ray gently licks the boy's face, as if to say, "You're not alone. I'll protect you." And in that moment, it seems like each careful movement pulls back an invisible curtain hiding a disturbing truth. His handler, Sergeant Miller, comes running. He looks baffled. His dog never acts on his own. This isn't just instinct, this is a message. "Hey, buddy, did you get lost?" the sergeant asks softly. But the boy clings to Ray's collar with such desperate strength it's clear the dog is the only thing keeping him from falling back into whatever he escaped. He stays silent. People pass by, unaware that right here, on this brightly lit platform, a case is beginning that will later be called one of the strangest and most emotionally difficult investigations in the department's history. The boy sobs quietly, his shoulders trembling. Ray presses his side against him, almost trying to warm him. This isn't standard service dog behavior. He senses things humans can't even imagine. And right now, he senses something we haven't discovered yet. Sergeant Miller notices a bruise on the boy's wrist. Long, narrow, like the mark of a tight grip. The boy instantly hides his hand behind his back. And we understand, he's scared. "Come with us," the sergeant says gently. But in that exact moment, Ray suddenly turns and pulls the boy down the platform. The dog is leading. He's choosing the direction. We can't ignore that. We follow them. The crowd parts. Ray moves with certainty, as though he already knows who we're supposed to find, though no one gave him a command. The boy whispers, "Please, don't send me back to them." The words fall between us like ice. Them? When I ask who he means, he shakes his head. His fear is so deep the words won't come out. Ray leads us toward the far exit where long-distance buses usually stop. He sniffs the steps, the curb, the shop windows. Searching for something, or someone. On the ground lies a tiny plastic bracelet with faded letters. When the boy sees it, he flinches and steps back. Ray sniffs it again, his entire body tenses. He knows that scent, Sergeant Miller murmurs. Which means only one thing, someone the boy fears was here moments ago. Ray pulls the leash again, faster. We follow. The farther we walk from the crowds, the stronger the feeling that something dangerous is hiding in the shadows of the station's infrastructure. At the edge of the parking lot stands an old van. Too old. Too inconspicuous. Ray stops and growls, not a warning, but a certainty. And then, as if out of thin air, a man and a woman appear. Their faces show fake concern. Their smiles look practiced. "There you are, sweetheart. We were so worried," the woman says, but her voice is wrong from the first syllable. The boy hides behind Ray, trembling so violently it looks painful. "It's them," he whispers. Ray steps in front of him like a guardian. "Let me see your documents," Sergeant Miller demands. The air grows tight with tension. The man pulls a paper from his pocket, too slowly, too deliberately, as if trying to buy time. Ray growls deeper. He smells the truth. These are not his guardians. The woman starts stepping backward, preparing to run. It's obvious. She's not afraid of the police. She's afraid we figured something out. "The boy was entrusted to us this morning," the man claims, voice shaking. "We have permission." Miller looks at the papers. Instantly sees it, the stamp is smudged, the signature is a copy, the boy's name is misspelled. It's fake. All of it. The man realizes we understand. His face shifts, concern replaced by cold aggression. He steps back, but Ray blocks him instantly. "Who exactly are you to him?" the sergeant asks. "We're his family," the woman stammers. Her hands shake. Ray barks sharply, He feels the lie. The boy starts crying again, not quiet tears this time, but a breaking cry, as if the dam finally burst. They took me. I didn't want to go, they tricked me. My heart tightens. The station disappears around us. It's just us, the child, the dog, and two adults who are clearly hiding something. Suddenly the man lunges for the boy, but Ray leaps faster, placing himself between them with a snarl. The threat becomes unmistakable. "Stop! Police!" Miller commands. His voice slices through the air. People turn, step back, some start recording. The man freezes. The woman too. Their eyes show they're ready to bolt. The boy clings to the sergeant's leg. He chooses the police. That means everything. "Who are you?" I ask. The man stays silent, defiant, hateful. The woman takes a step back, another, panic shining in her eyes. But not for the child. For herself. Then, without warning, she spins and runs. Ray barks, ready to chase, but Miller holds him back. "First we need to secure the man." The man tries to run after her, but I'm already calling for backup. The station starts buzzing, everyone senses something serious is happening. "You realize this is kidnapping," the sergeant says. The man smirks. "You can't prove anything." And then the boy says something that makes my hands go cold. "They didn't just take me, they took other kids." His voice is small, but every word is a blade. Ray growls again. He knows the boy is telling the truth. Miller tries to ask more, but the boy covers his face. He's too terrified to continue. "We understand, this isn't an isolated case. It's the beginning of something dark. Complicated. And the key to it all lies in the instincts of a service dog who sensed danger before anyone else." Police surround the man. He stops resisting, but his eyes are filled with hate. Almost confidence. As if he believes we're already too late. I look at Ray. He's still standing guard in front of the boy, the only soul the child trusts unconditionally. Now it's clear, Ray didn't respond to the boy's fear. He recognized the scent of the people who hurt him. And maybe the scent of other children. Ray suddenly lifts his head and looks toward the railway crossing. He hears something. Senses something. A new thread in this case. "He's taking us further," Miller says. His voice is firm now. Determined. This is just the first layer of the mystery. And that's when I realize, what began with a simple act, a dog gently licking a boy's tears, is about to uncover a network that hid in plain sight. And the worst part is still ahead. When the woman is detained at the exit from the platform, she screams, twists, tries to pull away, but all it does is confirm that she's no new mother. Ray stands beside her, watching every movement as if he knows she is the key to something hidden much deeper. The boy is taken to a small service room at the station. He still grips Ray's collar, as if he's afraid to let go. Sergeant Miller sits across from him, but Ray refuses to move away. He stays at the child's feet, protecting him better than any walls could. "What's your name?" the sergeant asks gently. The boy stays silent for a long time, then whispers, "Tim," just one fragile sound, but it shatters the quiet like thin glass. "Tim, tell me, who are these people?" Miller continues. But the boy turns away. He's terrified. Not simply afraid for himself, it's a deeper kind of fear, the kind that suggests something terrible will happen if he speaks. Ray whines softly and lays his head on Tim's knees. The dog feels the moment. Tim is close to talking. Ray has become more than protection, he is the anchor that keeps the boy from sinking. And finally Tim whispers, barely audible, "They told me I had to call them Mom and Dad. But I don't know them. They said no one is looking for me." The sergeant remembers yesterday's missing persons reports. No messages about a lost boy named Tim. That makes the situation even stranger. Who is he? And why has no one reported him missing? "Tim, have you been with them long?" I ask. The boy shakes his head. "No. I don't know. It's like a dream. They took me at night. I was asleep." His words sound as if he's afraid even to remember. He hunches his shoulders like he's expecting punishment for every answer. "Did they keep you in their home?" the sergeant asks. Tim trembles. "It wasn't a home. There were many kids, but then they were taken away, and they didn't come back." The air fills with a chilling sense of horror. Ray growls softly. The officers exchange tense looks. This is no simple kidnapping, this is something far worse. We step into the hallway to regroup. Miller frowns. Ray is acting like he senses more. The trail is fresh, this isn't over. At that moment Ray suddenly stands, walks to the door, and scratches at it. He's demanding to go out. He hears the continuation. We decide to trust the dog. Tim comes with us, he doesn't want to stay alone. He holds onto Ray's collar as if it's his only guarantee of safety. Outside, the wind carries city smells, familiar, ordinary, but Ray picks out something else, something tied to the trail he started following on the platform. The dog moves confidently through the parking lot, past cars and people, and leads us to a small gray car parked on a side street. At first glance, just a vehicle. But Ray goes straight to the trunk and growls. Miller unlocks it. Inside, nothing criminal. Just several black bags. But when he opens one, children's belongings spill out, tiny shoes, sweaters, backpacks. Tim gasps. They took these from the kids who disappeared. His voice breaks. Ray presses himself to the boy, keeping him from collapsing under the weight of memory. We call forensic teams. But Ray signals again, he wants to keep moving. He's picking up the trail. The car is just a piece of the puzzle. The dog leads us toward the bus stop. Tim follows, as if he already knows, the answer is ahead. His fear changes, now it's hope that the truth will come out. One of the surveillance cameras shows footage. The man and woman did not arrive at the station alone. A third person came with them, a thin man in a dark jacket. He left earlier. And Ray, it seems, is tracking his scent. We walk along the street, and suddenly the dog turns sharply toward an abandoned hangar behind the station. A place ordinary people never look at. A rusty lock hangs on the door, but the trail is fresh. Miller checks the lock, it's closed. But Ray whines insistently. He is certain something important is inside. Officers decide to cut the lock. The metal snaps, falls to the ground, and we enter. The smell of dampness mixes with something unsettling, the scent of fear that only the dog can detect. Inside, several old mattresses, scattered belongings, fragments of children's drawings. The place looks like a temporary shelter. A transit point. Tim looks around the walls and whispers, "I was here, not long. Then they moved me. And the others were taken before me." He approaches a table where a worn plush bear lies. He flinches and reaches out. This belonged to a boy, he disappeared. Miller murmurs, "They kept kids here. But why?" The question hangs heavy in the air. The answer is close, Ray seems to sense it. The dog walks to a door leading to a smaller room. He scratches at it. Inside, dim light, a flickering bulb, as if even it fears revealing what's hidden. We turn on the light. Papers, photographs, and city maps lie scattered across the table. And among them, a list of names. Children's names. Some crossed out. Tim runs to it, catching sight of the page. These are the ones who were with me," he begins trembling again. Ray stands beside him, pressing his head against Tim's hand. We look through the documents. One paper shows an address. Titled, "Child Transfer, Next Stage." This is no abduction, this is an organized network. We hear footsteps. Someone is nearby. Someone who left moments ago, or is still here. Ray lifts his head, ears alert, he knows where the threat is. He bolts toward the back door of the hangar. We sprint after him. Outside, nothing. Only fresh tracks in the dust. Someone escaped seconds earlier. The camera on the corner catches movement. A man in a dark jacket, the third one. He's running toward the railway tracks. He knows we've discovered their hidden location. We release Ray to pursue. The dog darts forward like an arrow, certain he will catch his target. Tim stays under police supervision, but his eyes follow Ray as if all his hope is bound to that dog. We cross the tracks, hearing the rumble of an approaching train, but Ray doesn't stop. He moves with purpose, following each molecule of scent. Then he halts near a narrow service tunnel beneath the platform. It's dark, damp, the smell of mold overpowering, except for the scent of the man we're chasing. We turn on our flashlights and move inside. Our footsteps echo loudly, too loudly. As if someone else is walking with us. But it's not us. At the far end of the tunnel, we see a silhouette. The man turns, eyes widening. He takes a step back, but there's a dead end. Ray growls, promising he won't escape. "Stop! Police!" Miller shouts. The man reaches into his pocket, but Ray lunges and knocks him to the ground. We rush in. A small flash drive drops to the floor. Tiny. Unremarkable. But clearly important. The man tries to crush it under his foot, but we stop him. "You're too late," he hisses as we handcuff him. It's already done. The kids were moved long ago. His words hit harder than any scream. It means the network spans far beyond the city. It means this is only the beginning. We return to Tim. He sits with Ray, stroking the dog's ear. He found them, Tim whispers. He knows where they are. We plug the flash drive into the patrol car's laptop. Files appear, route lists, photos of children, vehicle numbers. And one more address. Titled, Primary Location. Ray rises, as if understanding everything. He looks toward the door, ready to move again. Tim lifts his head quietly. Please, find the others. His gaze carries a plea that cannot be ignored. Miller nods. He understands, we've entered a new phase. This isn't the end, it's the entrance into a labyrinth. And Ray already knows the path. He will lead us forward, to the place where the truth lies hidden, cold enough to freeze blood. The address we pulled from the flash drive lies on the far side of the city, an old industrial district where most buildings have been abandoned for years. But that's exactly the kind of place people choose when they want to disappear. Ray sits in the car, tense, as if he already knows we're about to uncover something crucial. Tim stays at the station under protection. He doesn't want to let Ray go, but he understands, the dog is heading out to save other kids, and that matters most. Before we leave, he whispers, Ray, come back. And bring everyone home. The dog presses his muzzle to the boy's hand. A promise. We move out in a convoy, 2 patrol units, a special response team, and the K-9 handlers. But everyone feels it, whatever is waiting for us at that address, it's going to be worse than what we found at the first sight. The industrial zone looks like the set of an apocalyptic movie, rusted rebar, broken signs, empty shells of factories with their windows smashed out. But among all these hollow ruins stands one warehouse, and there are fresh tire tracks right outside its gate. Ray suddenly whines, rises, and plants his paws against the window. He already senses it, there are children inside. Or the ones who harmed them. We pull up in the shadows and check the exterior cameras. On one of them, there's a faint movement near the warehouse door. Someone is inside. Someone keeping watch. Sergeant Miller gives a hand signal, quiet entry. We slip out, moving tight along the wall. Ray stays beside us, laser-focused, alert, his nose working faster than any device. The door has an electronic lock. That means the place is used regularly. The sergeant nods to the tech specialist, crack it. Silent. He hooks up his tool. 2 long minutes of tension, then a soft click. We step inside. The warehouse is huge and looks empty at first glance, but Ray picks up a trail instantly and leads us toward a staircase going down. The descent is narrow, the concrete damp and cold. Below, an unnatural kind of stillness. Ray growls low, barely audible, like he's warning us, be ready. We switch on flashlights. A long corridor stretches ahead, lined with metal door rooms. The air is stale, heavy. And beneath the smell of moisture, Ray senses something faint but unmistakable, the scent of children. He bolts to the first door and scratches frantically. We open it. Empty. Just blankets on the floor and plastic bowls. But no one's been here for a few hours. The second room, the same. The third, identical. And only in the fourth does Ray erupt into barking. We push inside and find 2 kids, a boy and a girl, younger than 10, pale, terrified, but alive. The girl shields her eyes from the light, but when she spots Ray, she steps forward. She recognizes the smell. She recognizes safety. Ray approaches slowly, careful not to scare her. She reaches for him. We're getting you out, Sergeant Miller says. But the boy whispers, they're coming back, soon, we can't stay. We get the kids out fast. But Ray doesn't leave, he catches another scent deeper down the corridor. He knows this isn't over. At the end of the hall stands a reinforced metal door, thick and bolted by 4 locks. And behind it, a smell that makes Ray bristle. The smell of pain. The smell of those who caused it. The team lines up for breach. The countdown, 3, 2, 1. The door is ripped open, and we storm in. Inside, a table, computers, maps, phones, stacks of documents. And one masked man desperately trying to burn papers in a metal drum. He grabs a knife and charges. But Ray shoots forward like lightning, slamming him to the ground. The blade clatters across the floor. We restrain him. He stays silent, staring with cold, empty eyes. A man who doesn't see children as human. On the table lies a folder marked, shipment, today. The time, in 3 hours. They were about to move the kids. And there were far more of them. We flip through the documents. Routes, phones, names. Tim's siblings are listed there too. He wasn't the first, and wouldn't have been the last. Ray suddenly lifts his head and stares at the wall, as if hearing something. We follow, and find a hidden door disguised as a metal panel. Behind it, a tiny room. Inside, a cage. Empty, except for a blanket and a toy. A chill runs through me. Someone was here not long ago. They escaped through a secondary exit, Sergeant Miller realizes. Where's the second access point? We scan the room, and Ray finds it, scratching at the floor near a stack of crates. Beneath the boxes, a hatch. Fresh boot prints all around it. We lift it, and cold air rushes out. A tunnel. A long one. Leading out of the city. We descend. The tunnel is low, damp, but the trail is fresh, extremely fresh. Someone just moved the remaining kids this way. We run. Ray sprints ahead without slowing, as if every second matters. And he's right. After several minutes, the tunnel opens into a sewer channel. The stench is awful, but it's the perfect place for criminals to vanish. Ray barks sharply, footsteps echo in the distance. Fast. Panicked. We're close. We push forward. Our lights jitter along the concrete walls. The footsteps grow louder. Someone is running, checking over his shoulder. A silhouette appears, a man dragging a child. A girl, maybe 6. She's crying weakly, as if she's out of strength. Stop! Sergeant Miller shouts. But the man tightens his grip and runs faster. And then Ray does what only the bravest service dogs ever do. He races ahead, leaps, and clamps onto the man's sleeve. The man stumbles. The girl slips free. We grab her. The man tries to kick Ray, but the dog dodges and attacks again, holding him until we cuff him. The girl clings to me, shaking like she's just been dragged out of a nightmare. He said, "My mom's not looking for me," she whispers. We've heard that lie too many times. We evacuate the girl and call in another unit. But Ray still won't calm down. He smells another trail. He knows there are more kids out there. We head back into the tunnel. But after a few hundred meters, the path ends, a crossroads blocked by concrete slabs. Someone prepared an escape route in advance. We climb out through another hatch and end up in an abandoned courtyard near residential buildings. Hardly anyone comes here, a perfect place to disappear. Ray circles, searching, but the night air washes everything away. The trail is fading. The criminals who took the remaining children left earlier. We regroup, sharing grim looks. We saved a few victims. But the network is much bigger. And it's been running for a long time. We'll find them, Sergeant Miller says. All of them. Ray lifts his head as if answering, yes. We'll see this through. We return to the vehicles. The rescued kids are moved to a secure location. The little girl still clings to my uniform, afraid to let go. Ray nudges her gently, and she finally smiles, for the first time. When Tim learns that some of the kids have been saved, he'll cry again. But this time, there'll be tears of relief. Ray will return to him briefly, just long enough to show him that his friends found their way home too. But we know time is against us. The rest of the children might already be far away. Or already in transit. And the network won't leave clues voluntarily. We study the map we found in the basement. Red marks everywhere. Several addresses. One of them circled in thick ink. Probably their main hub. Ray lies down at our feet, but his eyes stay locked on the map. As if he already understands, the next stop is where the heart of this operation hides. Sergeant Miller says, we rest for exactly 20 minutes. Then we move. His voice is heavy but steady. We can't lose a second. Ray exhales softly, his tail tapping the floor. He's ready. He knows the real battle is ahead, and it will show us things we're not prepared for. But if there's one thing this dog has taught us, it's that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the instinct to keep moving forward, no matter what waits in the dark. When we stop in front of the house that Tim brought us to, the same place Ray keeps pulling toward, I can't shake the feeling that the walls themselves are breathing out lies. The house looks perfectly ordinary, pale curtains, a neat front door, a trimmed neighbor's lawn. But the air is thick, weighted, and every breath settles in my chest as unease. Ray stands tense, as if he hears something we're not yet able to understand. Sergeant Miller knocks. The first time, polite. The second, firm. The third, more of a warning. And only after that third knock do we hear movement inside. First a soft shuffle, like someone quietly shifting their feet. Then a faint creak of the floorboards. And finally, the door opens. The gap is narrow. In it, a woman's eyes. The same eyes we saw at the station when she held Tim by the hand, pretending to care. Now there's not a trace of fear in them. Only irritation, and a thin layer of anger at being disturbed. "Do you have a warrant?" she asks, her voice too calm to be natural. Sergeant Miller lifts the document. And right at that moment Ray steps forward, sharp, deliberate, perfectly controlled. The woman instinctively pulls back, the door opens a little wider, and we walk in. The house is unnervingly quiet. No TV noise, no ticking clock, no footsteps. A silence so deliberate it feels manufactured, as if built to hide another sound we haven't heard yet. Ray inhales deeply and moves down the hallway without hesitation. We follow him. Tim stays close to the psychologist, but every few seconds he glances toward the stairs. He's been here before. We see it in the way his shoulders tremble. But Ray doesn't lead us upstairs. He pulls us down. The hallway walls are freshly painted, but in several places faint marks show through, thin streaks, as if something had been dragged along the surface. The woman trails behind us with a stone-cold face, while a man appears on the second-floor landing, leaning against the railing, watching. His posture is far too relaxed, the posture of someone sure we won't find anything. Ray stops at the basement door and gives a low whine, not from fear, but insistence. A signal, this place matters. And it's dangerous. Sergeant Miller pulls the handle, and it yields too easily, as if the homeowners never bothered to hide what's really inside. We move down slowly, each step echoing off the concrete. The smell of damp and metal thickens. And the closer we get to the basement floor, the more palpable it becomes. Something happened here. Something long, systematic, and dark. Our flashlights reveal a table, old, wooden, scarred with dozens of shallow cuts. Some too straight, some violently jagged. Tape marks stain the walls. On the floor, stacks of boxes. Children's belongings. Tiny boots. Jogging suits. Picture books. Notebooks. Everything is arranged with unsettling precision, as if someone had been curating a collection. Or, trophies. Ray approaches one of the boxes, rests his nose on its edge, and lets out a quiet whimper. The sound digs directly into my bones. He knows these aren't just items. Sergeant Miller opens a box. Beneath the clothes, photographs. Dozens. Smiling children. Different homes. Different backgrounds. But each photo has writing on the back, day of intake. Day of transfer. The dates come one after another, like a schedule. Tim steps forward. He looks at the photos as if absorbing them through his eyes. His fingers tremble, but he lifts one picture and whispers, "These kids, they were upstairs. In the room." His voice cracks, and the psychologist gently wraps an arm around his shoulders. We head upstairs. The air changes immediately, too clean. Too sterile. And when Ray walks to one of the doors and lies down in front of it, almost like paying respect, we understand, this is the room where they kept the children. Sergeant Miller kicks the door open. Inside is a small, windowless space. 3 thin mattresses. 3 bowls. Stickers on the wall, faint, but recent. Locks on the inside show scratch marks. The kids tried to escape. My breath catches in my throat. None of us can breathe. Because now we understand, this place wasn't accidental. It's a cell. A waypoint. A launch point from which the children were sent further down the line. The woman starts rambling. "It's temporary, you don't understand. They weren't here long, we were just helping," but her voice sounds like someone who has lived inside her own lies for far too long. The man on the stairs watches us like we've disrupted a business meeting. There's no fear in his eyes. Only annoyance. The calm irritation of a predator caught ahead of schedule. Ray suddenly turns his head toward a cabinet in the corner. He sits. Goes silent. And we know, someone is in there. Or something. My heartbeat slams in my ribs. Sergeant Miller opens the door, and we see a small trembling shape. A girl. Fragile, terrified, clutching a stuffed bunny so tightly it looks like she might crush it. She doesn't scream. She only looks up at us with huge eyes full of fear and hope. Ray does what he's trained to do. He approaches slowly, lowers his head beside her hand. The girl reaches out, touches his fur, and bursts into quiet tears. Not from pain. From finally seeing a way out. We lead her outside. She squints at the sunlight like she's seeing it for the first time. The woman yells something about temporary custody, misunderstandings, mistakes. The man stays silent. But we already know, it's all a facade. Beneath it lies a void. As medics check the girl, one of the operators walks up. "We found something else." We return inside and find a bag of documents on the kitchen counter. A ledger. Notes. Information. And most important, addresses. One address is crossed out. The second, this house. The third, still unchecked. And when Tim sees it, he whispers, "I've been there. There are kids, there too." Sergeant Miller presses his lips together. His face turns to stone. And Ray lifts his head, staring at us, steady, urgent, as if saying, "Don't waste time. We understand, what we uncovered is only the surface. The house Tim escaped from is just one link in the chain. The girl outside is only one saved life. And the two people in cuffs, only the middlemen." Ray pulls toward the patrol car again. He's already picked up the trail. For him, this isn't an investigation. It's a call. He knows exactly where to go next. We only need to follow. When we step out of the house, the air feels different, colder, sharper. But inside that cold we recognize something else. We've stepped into a story far bigger than we imagined. And the next chapter will be even more dangerous. I look at Tim. He's shaking, but there's a flicker in his eyes, faint, but real. He sees that we saved another child. He sees that we're moving forward. And for the first time, he believes the darkness can be beaten. Ray sits beside him, resting his head on the boy's knees. And Tim strokes him, not crying for the first time in a long while. He whispers, "Thank you." And Ray closes his eyes, as if he understands every word. The house falls into an unusual quiet, the kind that settles after a long whisper, when the truth is finally spoken out loud. Tim sits on the couch, holding Ray so tightly you'd think he's afraid to let go. He isn't crying, as if he's run out of tears. And in place of them, his eyes hold something older, heavier, something no 7-year-old should have had to carry. My team and I begin searching the rooms. The house looks neat, almost exemplary at first glance, but once you step a little deeper, the facade crumbles. Inside one cabinet we find rows of folders, photographs of different children. One of them is Tim, clearly taken without him knowing. Another folder holds names of unknown coordinators, phone numbers, carefully written contacts. This isn't coincidence or emotion or some misguided attempt to help. This is a system. Ray nudges my sleeve again, gentle, certain. He leads us down the hallway to a room at the far end. The door is slightly open, a faint light inside. Papers are spread across the desk, fake birth certificates, falsified medical records. In the corner sits a suitcase. Judging by the contents, Tim was supposed to leave tomorrow. To another country. A new family. A new name. A new life where he would never get to tell the truth. I look at Ray. He's silent, only watching us with those big, attentive eyes. In them I see exactly what I feel myself. If not for him, we wouldn't have made it in time. Sometimes it isn't people who make the real decisions. Sometimes a dog does, the one who senses pain more precisely than any lie detector in the world. Tim approaches us carefully. He sees the open suitcase and quietly asks, "They wanted to take me away from here?" I kneel to his eye level and nod. He doesn't cry, he just presses his lips together, as if accepting a truth far too adult. Ray bumps his elbow with his head, and for the first time all day the boy smiles, barely, fragilely. A few minutes later, the tactical team arrives in the yard. Flashlights bounce off the windows, the house fills with movement, radio chatter, documentation. But Tim and Ray sit off to the side, as if in their own small world no one can intrude upon yet. We step outside. The sky darkens, the air smells like rain. Tim walks beside Ray, holding the dog's collar like a lifeline. He whispers to me so only I can hear, "I used to think grown-ups always know what's right. But now I know they don't. It's too deep and too wrong for a child of 7, and something twists painfully in my chest." The social service car pulls up. A woman, the psychologist, comes toward Tim, but he steps back, afraid to end up with strangers again. I point to Ray, "He'll go with you. For now. As long as needed." She nods, and Tim looks at us with trust for the first time. He needs someone beside him. And Ray is the best someone he could have. We drive to the station, and the silence inside the car feels almost sacred. Tim clings to Ray's neck as if holding on to him keeps the fear from swallowing him whole. And the dog, he sits completely still and patient, like a true guardian. And I realize, he is no longer just a service dog, he's a bridge between the boy and a safer world. At the station we work through the paperwork. Tim sits in the interview room while the psychologist begins her notes. But Ray refuses to stand farther than 3 steps from the door. If someone closes it, he lies down right in front of it. Everyone understands instantly, these two won't be easily separated. When the psychologist steps out, she quietly says to me, "It's remarkable. He spoke clearly for the first time today. Only because the dog was there." I can't help but smile. In that moment I understand, real therapy is trust. And sometimes trust comes in the form of a brown muzzle and smart, attentive eyes. An hour later, Tim's mother arrives. They bring her into a room, and there, the hardest moment of the night. Tim steps inside and freezes. His mother jumps from her chair, falls to her knees, and pulls him close as if afraid he'll disappear again. She sobs openly, not caring about officers or cameras. Tim stands, confused, then slowly hugs her back. Ray gently nudges the boy forward with his nose. And in that small gesture lies all his wisdom. He seems to say, "You're finally home." Tim's mother pales when she learns those adoptive parents were planning to take her son forever. Through tears, she asks, "What if you hadn't found him?" And I have no answer. But Ray sits down beside her, and somehow that is an answer in itself. Later, when all formalities are done, we step outside. Rain has begun, soft drops calming the air after everything. Tim stands next to Ray, holding his collar. He looks up and asks me, "Can I come visit him?" "Absolutely," I say. "He'll be waiting." And it isn't just something I say. Ray will be waiting. Bonds like this don't break. They don't fade. They're like a trail. Once a dog finds it, he never loses it again. The car pulls away with Tim and his mother inside. Ray watches them until the headlights disappear around the corner. Only then does he sigh softly and rest his head on my knee. His fur is wet from the rain, but his eyes are calm. He's done the most important thing a protector can do. He's given a child back the life someone tried to steal. And in that moment I understand one simple, irreversible truth. Sometimes the darkest crimes are solved not by analytics, or technology, or flawless documents. Sometimes, by a heart. A dog's heart that knows pain and calls for help even when a child is still silent. And maybe the world of adults is full of lies, fake signatures, beautiful houses hiding filthy truths. But in Ray's world there is only one rule: if a child cries, you save him. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter from whom. What matters is getting there in time. He lifts his head toward me again, and there's a soft, steady certainty glowing in his eyes. And I realize this is the end of an investigation, but not the end of a story. Because one day that boy will come back to the station. And Ray, hearing those footsteps, will rush to the door, tail drumming out a rhythm of pure joy. And that will be the right ending, the one the boy, the dog, and any person who's ever cried hoping someone would come, truly deserves.